The haunted horror of Aughrim Battlefield, Ireland's bloodiest battlefield, still echoes with the dead. The quiet countryside of County Galway, Ireland, appears peaceful today. Green fields stretch to the horizon, birds sing above the hedgerows, and the wind gently brushes across the grass. Yet beneath this calm landscape lies one of the darkest chapters in Irish history. Locals say that when the fog settles over Aughrim Battlefield after sunset, strange sounds emerge from the silence: phantom cries, invisible horses charging through the night, and ghostly soldiers forever trapped in the final moments of battle. Is this merely folklore born from a tragic past? Or are the spirits of thousands who died here still unable to leave the place where their lives ended so violently? This is the true haunted history of Aughrim Battlefield. A battle that changed Ireland forever. The Battle of Aughrim took place on July 12, 1691, during the Williamite War in Ireland. It became the bloodiest battle ever fought on Irish soil. On one side stood the Jacobite army, loyal to King James II. On the other stood the Williamite forces supporting King William III. Nearly 50,000 soldiers gathered around the small village of Aughrim. By sunset, the fields had become rivers of blood. Historical estimates suggest that around 7,000 men died in a single day, while countless others were wounded. Many bodies were never properly identified, and mass graves were dug hurriedly across the battlefield. The sheer scale of death left a permanent scar on the land itself. Many historians believe the battle effectively ended Jacobite hopes in Ireland and altered Irish history forever. The battlefield that never truly became silent. Unlike many historic battlefields that were eventually reclaimed by nature, Aughrim seems different. Generations of local families have spoken of strange occurrences after dark. Farmers working late have reported hearing distant drums despite there being no one nearby.
Stand your ground!
Others describe faint trumpet calls carried on the evening wind. Visitors often dismiss these sounds as imagination, until they realize they are completely alone. Several witnesses have claimed the noises suddenly stop the moment they attempt to follow them. The silence that follows feels heavier than before. The Phantom Army. Perhaps the most famous legend surrounding Aughrim is that of the Phantom Army. According to local tradition, on certain misty nights ghostly soldiers appear marching across the fields. Witnesses describe lines of transparent men carrying muskets
Fire
and
at will!
Some
Stand
wear
your
tattered
ground!
uniforms. Others appear covered in mud and blood. No faces can clearly be seen. The soldiers never acknowledge observers. Instead, they silently march toward the location where the fiercest fighting occurred before fading into the mist without leaving footprints. These reports have existed for generations, long before modern ghost tourism. The sound of invisible horses. One of the strangest experiences reported by nearby residents involves horses. Late at night people occasionally hear dozens of horses galloping across open fields. The thunder of hooves grows louder and louder. Yet when witnesses shine a flashlight or investigate, the fields remain completely empty. Some say the sound circles around them before suddenly disappearing. Historians note that cavalry played a decisive role during the battle. Whether coincidence or something more mysterious, these phantom hoofbeats continue to be one of Aughrim's most enduring legends. The crying voices in the fog. Dense Irish fog often covers the battlefield during autumn evenings. Locals have long warned travelers not to linger there after dark. Several accounts describe hearing distant cries carried by the mist. Some sound like wounded men calling for help. Others resemble prayers spoken in Old Irish. Occasionally witnesses report hearing voices shouting military commands before everything falls eerily quiet again. No source has ever been identified. Even modern recording equipment has failed to consistently capture these unexplained sounds. The Headless Horseman of Aughrim. Among the oldest local legends is the story of a mysterious rider. Travelers have claimed to see a horseman dressed in 17th-century military clothing riding silently across country roads near the battlefield. As he approaches, witnesses realize something horrifying. The rider has no head. Before anyone can react, both horse and rider disappear into darkness. The legend may have originated from soldiers decapitated by cannon fire during the battle, although no historical evidence confirms the specific ghost. Still, stories of the headless rider continue to circulate throughout the region. The ghost of Saint Ruth. One historical figure frequently connected with paranormal stories is Charles Chaumet de Saint Rua, better known as Saint Ruth, the French commander of the Jacobite army. During the battle, Saint Ruth was reportedly killed instantly when a cannonball struck him. His sudden death caused confusion among his troops and contributed significantly to the Jacobite defeat. Some local legends claim that his spirit still searches the battlefield, unable to accept the catastrophic loss. A few visitors have described seeing the silhouette of an officer standing alone on a hill before disappearing into the fog. There is no verified evidence connecting these sightings to Saint Ruth, but the story remains part of local folklore. Animals that refuse to cross certain ground. Farmers have occasionally claimed that livestock behave strangely in specific parts of the battlefield. Some horses refuse to enter certain fields. Dogs have reportedly barked at empty spaces or suddenly refused to continue walking. Livestock occasionally become unusually nervous without any obvious cause. Animal behavior can have many natural explanations, and none of these reports prove paranormal activity. However, similar stories appear in oral traditions surrounding several historic battlefields across Europe. The hidden graves beneath the grass. One reason Aughrim inspires so many ghost stories is the number of soldiers buried there. Following the battle, thousands of bodies were placed into hurried burial pits. Many graves remain unmarked. Archaeologists believe numerous human remains still lie beneath the surrounding farmland. Knowing that thousands died where visitors now peacefully walk creates a powerful emotional atmosphere. Many people describe feeling overwhelming sadness or heaviness without understanding why. Whether psychological or supernatural, the experience leaves a lasting impression. Modern paranormal investigations. Over the years, paranormal investigators have visited Aughrim hoping to document supernatural activity. Some claim to have recorded unexplained electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, strange temperature drops, or unusual sounds. However, none of these findings have been independently verified or accepted as scientific evidence. Skeptics argue that environmental conditions, wind, wildlife, suggestion, and the site's tragic history can influence people's perceptions. Even so, the reports continue to attract researchers, ghost hunters, and curious visitors. A place of respect, not fear. Despite its haunted reputation, Aughrim Battlefield is first and foremost a place of remembrance. Thousands of men lost their lives here during one of Ireland's most devastating battles. For many Irish families, the battlefield represents sacrifice, suffering, and the painful cost of war. Visitors are encouraged to treat the site with dignity and respect rather than as merely a location for ghost hunting. Perhaps that respect is why the stories have survived for centuries. As darkness falls over the fields of Aughrim, the wind whispers through the grass where thousands once fought their final battle. Maybe the distant cries are only echoes carried across the countryside. Maybe the phantom soldiers exist only in the imagination shaped by history. Or perhaps some tragedies leave wounds so deep that even centuries cannot silence them. If the legends are true, then every misty evening at Aughrim is not simply another Irish sunset. It is the beginning of a battlefield that fights the same battle, over and over, for eternity. Would you dare stand alone on Aughrim Battlefield after midnight, listening for the sound of invisible horses and marching soldiers?